Kelsey Ward, and I am an agent with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
And what region of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation do you work at?
I work at the Athens Regional Field Office, which is Region 11.
What, I guess is Bexar County one of the counties that Region 11 covers?
It is.
Okay. And is that one of the counties that you're assigned to work with?
It is.
Okay. How long have you worked for the GBI?
I have worked for the GBI approximately 5 years.
What do your duties at Region 11 entail?
So we are a request-only law enforcement entity, which means local agencies reach out to us and ask us for assistance, and we assist them with their investigations.
In your capacity as a special agent for the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, did you respond to the Appalachia High shooting on September 4th?
I did.
Where did you first go when responding to the shooting?
I entered the school at the base of G and I Hall, if I remember correctly, which is over near the guidance counselor's offices.
And what did you do there?
I met with Special Agent Nick Johnson, who was at the end of one of the halls, and we began to do a secondary clearing of the school. And when I realized there were plenty of law enforcement personnel doing that, I went to the atrium to assist with organizing that clearing with one of the Bexar County investigators.
Okay. After you completed that task of organizing the clearing and finishing the clearing, where did you go next?
I was asked to travel to Colt and Colin Gray's residence in Bexar County.
And where is that?
It's located at 896 Harrison Mill Road in Bethlehem, Georgia.
And is that in Bexar County?
It is.
What were you assigned to do there?
I was asked to conduct an interview with Colin Gray, which is Colt Gray's father.
Approximately what time did you arrive there?
I arrived there at approximately 1:25 p.m.
And what was the defendant there when you arrived?
He was.
Did you ask to speak with him?
I did.
And did he agree to speak with you?
He did.
Where did you first encounter him?
He was sitting on the tailgate of his truck in the driveway outside of the garage area.
And what was his demeanor like when you first encountered him?
He was calm. He was sitting on the edge of the tailgate, just looking around the yard.
And were you wearing body camera that day?
No, so the GBI doesn't use body cameras, but I was using my digital recorder.
Okay. And in that first interaction that you had with the defendant where you walked up to him on the bed of his truck, have you had an opportunity to review any body cameras that did catch that initial interaction?
Yes, I have.
And whose body camera was that?
That was a Bexar County Sheriff's Officer deputy named Anthony Townsend.
Okay. And in reviewing that camera, was it a fair and accurate recording of that initial interaction that you had with the defendant?
Yes, it was.
So that interview is Case Exhibit 212, and it is on our hard drive. You're all right. This time I'd like to introduce into evidence Case Exhibit 212 and play just the portion of that body camera where it catches the initial interaction between Special Agent Ward and the defendant.
No objection.
It's a limited timestamp for this particular case.
Yeah.
Unless it's the only thing on it.
It's the only thing that's being introduced. We're not doing the entirety of the.
Is this okay if I sit here? Would you like to sit in my office or the room? The personal? Whatever you want.
Okay. Where did y'all end up going to speak with them?
I asked him right then if he would like to move to somewhere that was quieter, more private, since there were multiple law enforcement personnel on scene. And we moved to my state-issued Tahoe, which was parked in the driveway.
And who was with you?
Special Agent Amelia Maddox.
And you indicated that you had audio recorder with you. Did you record your interview with the defendant?
I did.
Approximately how long was that interview?
It was approximately an hour and a half long.
And have you had an opportunity to review that interview?
I have.
And is it a fair and accurate reporting of your interview with the defendant on September 4th of 2024?
Yes, it is.
Have there been any additions or deletions?
No, there have not.
Okay. And at this time, Your Honor, I'd like to introduce into evidence State's Exhibit 182, which is also on the hard drive. I'm not going to play it yet. I have some more questions for her before I do that.
Is there any objection on 82?
There's no objection, though we did do a motion, and so we're still maintaining our position in regards to that motion.
All prior motions, of course, preserved.
Yes, sir.
I will, all right, 182 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. So before we play that, I just want to ask you a few questions about your interview. What was your initial goal in speaking with the defendant?
So we wanted to gather information about the family dynamics. We wanted to gather information about Colt himself and his background, where he had obtained the firearm that he had used during the shooting, and any information we could obtain about his mental health.
Okay. So at that time, you did not know where he had gotten the firearm?
No, we did not.
And did you have any information about what led up to the shooting?
No, I didn't at that time.
Was that important to your investigation?
Yes, it was.
And was finding out where he got the firearm important to your investigation?
Yes.
During the course of the interview, did he tell you whether or not he had custody of Colt?
Yes, he did.
And just generally, what did he say about that?
He told me during the interview that he had papers showing that he had custody of his children, and indicated that those had been compiled by defects.
Okay. What, if anything, did he say about Colt being violent or aggressive?
So he said over the course of his interview that over the last, I believe he used 5 to 7 months, Colt's behavior had become more aggressive and escalated, and that Colt had previously broken a window, had been involved in physical altercations with Colin. There had been 3 to 4 of those physical altercations. He used the term bull rush when describing how Colt would come at him during those altercations, and he would physically have to hold Colt or take it, is how he described his incidences with his son.
Did he talk about Colt needing mental health treatment or any attempts to get him treatment?
Yeah, he did.
And what did he say about that?
So he told me that just in the week prior to the incident occurring, he had actually, he said he had been on the phone with counselors, and he indicated that he felt that Colt needed to maybe be checked into a place, and that basically he had been doing some emailing back and forth with some mental health facilities.
And did he indicate, in terms of Colt being checked into a place, if that's something he had been working on?
Yeah, so he said that some emails had gone between him and a lady at Project Aware, but he didn't indicate that he had taken any steps to actually take him to that meeting.
And did he mention whether or not Colt specifically thought he needed help?
Yeah, so he actually made the comment that Colt had said that he felt like nothing his dad was doing for him was helpful, and that he might need to be checked into some kind of asylum.
What, if anything, did the defendant say about where Colt got the firearm used in the shooting?
So we talked about that pretty in-depthly. He stated that originally he had allowed Colt to use another weapon when they had gone hunting, and that weapon had jammed or backfired, and it had scared Colt. And so he and Colt had talked about Santa Claus, i.e. himself, Colin, purchasing Colt another firearm, which did take place, which he ended up purchasing Colt the 6-hour firearm that he used during the shooting, and that was purchased at Mike's gun room.
And approximately when did he provide that or give that firearm to Colt as a gift?
That was given over the Christmas of what would have been December of 2023.
Did the defendant tell you where the gun was kept or whether or not Colt had access to the firearm or the rifle?
Yeah, so originally during the interview, or initially, he stated that the firearms were all kept in the top of a closet in the residence, separated from the magazines and the ammo. I believe he referred to them as clips. But then later in the interview, he stated that the 6-hour had actually been in Colt's bedroom in the corner of the room close to Colt's guitar, where he had been working on it. I believe he said he had been putting a laser on the firearm, and they had been sighting it in.
Did the defendant say whether or not Colt had any interest in school shooters or school shootings?
Yes. So a couple of days prior to the incident, Colin noticed some images on the wall, or an image on the wall in Colt's bedroom, and asked Colt who the individual was in the image. And at first, Colin didn't push that conversation any further, but later that night he realized the photo had been taken down, and he and Colt discussed that it was a photo of Nikolas Cruz, a previous school shooter.
Okay. And did the defendant have any follow-up questions for Colt based on that information that he told you about?
No, he didn't state that he asked Colt anything further about the images on the wall.
Did he mention having a family member in law enforcement?
He did.
And did he seem to have familiarity based on that family member with kind of what y'all's plans were with doing a search warrant, that kind of thing?
Yes, he actually said he knew exactly what we were going to be doing at the residence. We had been discussing executing a search warrant inside the home and outside of the home, and his response was he knew exactly what we were doing, that his sister had been a cop, a lieutenant actually, previously.
Did he mention whether or not he had reached out to his sister related to these issues with Colt, him having access to the firearm and him having the picture of the last school shooter on his wall?
No, he did not say that he had reached out to her about any of those things.
Okay, so at this time, I'm going to go ahead and play the audio recording for the jury.
Look, and ladies and gentlemen, as I heard, this is an hour and a half, thereabouts. If you need a break during it, because this will push us beyond our normal break, just raise your hand and we'll stop.
This is Agent Ward. I am going to be attempting to interview the father of our subject, Colin Gray, at his residence, 896 Harrison Mill Road, Bethlehem. It is approximately 1:28 p.m. on Wednesday, September 4th, and Special Agent Millie Maddox is going to be assisting me in this interview.
give you a lot of information right now. I'm very sorry about that, but we'll do this ongoing investigation because this is something that cannot disclose to you at this time. And it's evolving. So he is in law enforcement custody at the time. So I can tell you that. Okay? As far as more details than that, I'm not going to be able to tell you. Okay? Is this okay for us to interview here? Would you like to sit in my Tahoe so that it's more personal? Why don't we do that? Yeah. Yeah, we can turn the air on that way.
Next door.
Okay.
And my little baby boy is Austin Road.
Okay.
So then
Have you made contact with them?
my daughter started texting me this morning. Said school they locked down. I was like, oh,
Okay. If you will come sit in the front seat, I'll move my butt back. I'll just come here. Turn this on so we can hear this.
You got enough room?
So like I said, just kind of tell me about your family. Tell me about Colt. Kind of tell me about the dynamics at the house.
So, Colt, Jenny, and Colin Jr. We live here. Just those three and me. We originally, all my kids were born and raised in Statham. They were all born in Athens. We had a big farm in Statham a few years ago.
Sure.
Her family's all from South Georgia, so COVID all hit. Like, I'm hurting, I need to heal. So it was like, hey, let's take some time. We'll stay down there. Her grandmother passed away. There's a family house down there. I said, so I can heal, and nobody's doing any building because of COVID. And I said, you can get a job at Georgia Pacific, and what, be good. So we went down there and started down that path.
Okay.
And I don't know, we were down there probably I guess it was 8 to 10 months. It was close to a year. And then I started feeling better. Her and I kind of not really seeing eye to eye. She, at that time, her issue was drinking. So back then. So I said, hey, we just need to get out of this down here. The kids are kind of stuck in, like, the schools in Ben Hill County, Fitzgerald, they're good, they just don't have the money and access. So everything's like literally like days behind, it felt like. So
I used to be assigned to the Perryfield office, so
there
that
you
was
go.
actually my area, so
There you
I'm
go.
very familiar
So-
with Ben Hill. Those are my counties.
and I tell people, I'm like, the clock literally moves
Yes, it does.
10 minutes slower, but I also wanted my kids to see that way of life and see how all the different color, races of people, everybody like meshes, everybody gets together. I wanted them to see that. He had some trouble with some bullying in Jefferson a while back, and that kind of just was, I thought, you need to go down there and just see the simple way of life, and we'll just take it easy and we'll build our way back up here. I said, once construction starts, Dad, we'll go back up there, get a job, and we'll be right back in business. So we stayed down there about as long as we could, and I've got my son-in-law who I got a job doing what I do, full circle, called him up and said, hey, I'm healed. is anybody hiring? He's like, everybody's looking for you. Like, call these people, they want to hire you today. I'm like, great. So had an interview that day, had the job the same day. I'm like, great, we're going back home, we're coming back up here. And the kids were all happy because this is where they know, you know. So came back up here, and she stayed down there with little one, and Colt and I just started out in Jefferson, just him and I.
And when was that?
This was probably about a year and 4 or 5 months ago, and that's kind of where the bullying with him kind of started a little bit.
Okay.
And
He was already at the high school then as well?
no, he was at Jefferson Middle School, so he was in 7th grade at that time.
Gotcha.
So talked to some people like, hey, what can we do? Went up to the school multiple times, sat down with counselors, principals, like, look, hey, Colt is real reserved. He's not he's kind of super shy in crowds. He doesn't he's just not that hell-raising kind of kid. I said, but somebody is continuing to kind of bully him at lunch. And so this went on for probably 2 or 3 months. And finally it wasn't, it would get better for a day and then it would be right back to the same thing. And he is a very smart kid, but once he gets off task, he's like off task. So grades are taking a beating. I'm like, look, I said, at the end of the school year, I said, even if you have to take this grade over, I said, we'll go move back over towards Statham, where everybody's familiar. Our church is here. I said, we'll come back, we'll get back in the groove, we'll get Jenny and Boo back up here, and till your mom gets stuff sorted out. All right.
And those are his sisters?
That's his sister and his little brother.
And his little brother, yeah.
So at that time, I thought it was still just her having issues with drinking, and we'd been up here for 6, 8 months, maybe, like I said, it might be that year mark. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't down there every day, but what was happening was she had got mixed in with the wrong crowd. I don't know how, but I had a phone call from her mother, said, hey, look, Marcy was kind of riding on the wrong side of the road here. I'm worried about who she's with. And I'm like, do not let the kids around there. If you think of what she's doing is drinking, it's still in my mind, we drinking and driving. So what it ended up being, we found out, I get a call, Colt and I just had moved to this house, been here a couple of months. Defects calls me at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, hello. She was like, I need you to come down here right now and pick up your 2 kids. I'm like, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I said, okay. I said, but it's going to take me 4 hours to get there. She's like, oh man, where do you live? So we went through this whole thing. I'm like, tell me what's wrong. I said, I can hear your voice. What is happening? She said, just like this, I can't until you're face to face and you sign a piece of paper.
Like saying you're their dad.
Right. So I'm thinking, okay, she got a DUI. Okay. So I hung up the phone and I said, look, we got to go down there and get your brother and sister. And he was like, I told you, Mama doing things she shouldn't be, riding the roads all hours of the night. So him and her had a rift down there, obviously. So that was part of the reason why we were just going to let them kind of get calmed down. Yeah. And if the 2 older ones the little ones wanted to come up here, then that was fine. We're just going to try to make it to that summer, right? So we get the call, we go down there, I meet her. I'm like, okay, we're church parking lot, 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what are we doing? What is going on? She said, just trust me. I'll tell you when we get there. She has to sign this paper and blah, blah, blah. So long story short, we get there, go in the house, and I still, like, what do we do? I have no idea. She goes and gets the kids. They're all happy to see me. Junior, like, pole vaulted across the couch. Oh, please take me with you. I was like, okay, hang on. I got to talk to these folks.
Sure.
Yep. So I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, get to it. Well, hopefully she didn't wreck or hurt anybody or anything like that. It's like, okay. So we signed the paperwork. She said, we did a hair follicle on you, Mrs. Gray, and it came back all this opioids and Adderall, and I'm like, and she said a high level alcohol, and I'm like, yep. And she goes, and the biggest thing, and I've been doing this for 25 years, and I've never seen the level this high, she goes, is the meth. And I spun around the chair, and I'm like, what did you just say? And like, she looked at me, I'm like, did you just say meth? I'm like, what? I like lost my mind for a second. I'm like, our children are down here. That's it. We're done. We're leaving. She's like, hang on. You got to sign some paperwork. I'm like, I'm leaving. She's like, hang on. She said, you have went through the whole deal. You have custody of your kids. You're in charge of who sees them and when. If she wants to see them, it's going to have to be permission only. And she was like, well, who grants permission? It was like, Mr. Gray, and it'll be visitation supervised. And I'm like, and she's going through all this, and I'm just sitting there looking at her like we've been married for 14 years, almost 15. And I'm like, she's an engineer with a degree on the wall. Like, I have nothing. I've worked my ass off to get to where I'm going. I'm like, you know. So anyway, we get in the car and we come back up here, tell the kids, like, look, we're going to get your mom help. I can't do what I want to do. I have to show them the right thing. I wanted to snap them like, you figure it out. But I just told them, like, listen, your mom messed up, but we're not going to leave her. We're going to help her. I said, Dad just started his job back here. As soon as the insurance kicks in, we'll get her sent somewhere to get help. I said, that's what we're going to do. So we came up here, probably 3 weeks were good. Get a lieutenant guest at 2:30 in the morning beating on my door. And I'm like, yep. He's like, can you step outside? And I'm like, I can. I'm like, what's this about? And he was like, we got a call that you went to pick up your kids for fall break and you never brought them back and you won't answer the phone. And I'm like, no. I said, let me get the paperwork out of my truck. I said, here's the paperwork from defects. Went through that whole thing. He said, that doesn't matter. He said, I said, it does matter. I have custody. That's what this paper says. And he was we were going back and forth about, like, I'm not taking my kids back to her. Like, that's not happening. So we got that worked out. And nothing further from that. I said, if I've got to come in there and talk to somebody at the office with y'all, I'll do that. I said, but we're not. The reason they're here is because of all of this. And it's a danger to have them around her. Like, so pretty much from that point on is when Colt and his mama had a riff. And once he found out it was meth, he just was pissed.
And that was about a year ago?
The meth thing was probably about 8 months ago, 8.5, 9 months ago, because she took it to heart, and we kind of found some places, and she checked herself into an inpatient care down there, and I was going to move her up here to Athens as long as it was inpatient so she could see the kids, as long as she was getting better. So they were happy about that, but Colt and her were still kind of at odds. And
how old would he have been then?
I would say in the time that the rift started, he was probably about 12 and a half, maybe 13, and it went through 13 and to this point now.
No.
Yeah. So he's really pissed about how she was doing and what she was doing. Then her daddy got involved down there at that house, and like he called all these juvenile places trying to have Colt taken away because he broke a window. Just stupid shit. Her dad was trying, just caused a bunch of.
While he had been down there, you broke the window? Okay.
Yeah. And it just caused a big old, I'm like, just hang on. I said, I'll drive down there, I'll get you Colt, we'll come back. From that point on, he just is not like he could just take it or leave it with his mom. So I said, listen, she's in rehab. We'll take this as you want to take it. We're not going to just let her back in the house until she clears some hurdles for everybody, including us. But the other two, little man, the little one, like, he doesn't know the bad.
They don't understand.
And I can't break into a meth conversation with my 8-year-old. So Jenny is old enough to know. She knows what's going on. And she's just kind of like the neutral one and doesn't want to cause a rift. And she knows that Colt and her have got issues, and so probably about 5 or 6 months ago, 7 months ago, shortly after we got back from all there, got everybody settled and going. I'm like, Colt, we got to start talking about school. And then his mom would be on the phone giving him grief about not wanting to go to school. So from that point on, his attitude escalated to the point where he would be like just cussing and talking to me like you shouldn't talk to your
And that was
parents.
5 to 7 months ago.
Yeah, and it's continued on, you know, with a couple of, and they, you know, argue with him and like you can't say or do this thing, you can't just lay out of school. And he's like gone to hands on trying to fight me. So I tried to just either hold him down or get him like hold back and just turn my head like
Because
stop.
he's 14 now?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
14. And not, you know, don't like take a belt or any of that
Yeah.
old school stuff. He knows like it's not what we're supposed to be doing, so I just take it
Yeah.
till he calms down, and I let him talk it out, and we like, hey, this is not working. Okay, so obviously the first time, like, oh, okay, I was a kid once. Second time it happened, I'm like, no. So we had been on the phone with counselors.
I was always about to ask.
Yeah,
Okay.
and my mother-in-law is a school teacher for 40 years. Like she gets it.
Okay.
And I'm like, he's got to have specialized. It can't just this isn't just five and dime. Like he may need to be checked into someplace.
Okay.
I said if it continues to escalate and it goes towards his brother or his sister,
Right.
then he needs to go right there. So we've had probably maybe 3 or 4 of those kind of altercations to where he's gotten above aggressive with me.
What would you describe above aggressive as?
Just to the point where, like, I can see it, like, I can see his face change, and I know he's fixing to bull rush me.
Okay.
You know, and I'll be like, hang on, just wait, and it's too late.
So he has physically
Yeah.
injured you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I call it a bull rush,
Sure.
you know, so he'll bull rush me, and, like, I'll just kind of hold him in place, and if he, like, the second to last time he hit me in the face, and when he did, he kind of slipped on the ground at the same time, and I just landed on him. I'm like, I'm not going to let you up till you calm down.
Yeah.
So he did. He calmed down and, like, got up, like, I won't talk. I said, you just go do what you need to do, get a good night's sleep, and we'll start tomorrow. So I started keeping notes about what he does, how he acts, and I've determined just from what we do day to day, when he gets ultra tired, he just changes. When he gets to his mom, there's no discussion. And I just walked in there when I got home because I had this gut feeling, and when I went into his room, I know what happened. I turned the news on, and he was either one laying there or he was one in custody. So I'm aware of what happened. And so that was been like, we need to get him to go somewhere. Like, that's what we have been trying to do here for the last probably good week or so. Like,
So for about a week, you've been trying to get him institutionalized?
not institute.
Okay.
He called his mom and said that that nothing that I was doing was good enough, and that maybe he just needed to be in an insane asylum. And I'm like, he's just been.
When was that?
That was probably a couple weeks ago, maybe in passing. And I'm like, no. I said, listen, I talked to him and told him I've been on the phone with the school and the counselor at school.
Okay.
Like, they're all aware of what's going on.
What's the name of
with
that
him.
counselor? Do you know?
I've got.
We can look later.
Yeah, I've got an email where we've been back and forth.
Okay.
She sent me another piece of document from Aware.
Okay.
Counseling is a third party.
It's a third party counselor.
Right. Said, would you be? I'm like, absolutely, yes. I would love to do that. Give me the paperwork. So I filled it all out, signed it, and sent it back. I said, tell me what we need to do, and we will make this happen like the next day. So she said, once we get that filled out, when he comes to school, we'll sit down and meet with him. I'm like, okay, do I need to be there? She's like, no, we'll just meet with him first.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. So the goal was them to meet, and then the paperwork I filled out was, the way I took it is it's not an interest for the school or anybody. She's just more dialed to the child, trying to give him like
Hands-on care, basically.
correct, right, and make that determined for me. I don't want my wife, who's sort of kind of involved, or my mother-in-law to, say, oh, he needs to be, institutionalized. I want somebody, third party, that doesn't know anybody in the family to say this. So
To make like an unbiased assessment.
Yes.
Got it.
So that's what I was trying to do. And yesterday I said, hey, look, it takes a little, and I tried to give him a pep talk. I'm like,
So
hey,
this was yesterday.
this was yesterday. I
Okay.
said, and I'll show you the text. I'm like, it takes a lot of guts to do what you're doing. Go walking back into school after all this time. I said, you're doing the right thing, and I'm super proud of you. So, get back home from work, come in, cooking dinner, and he said, I didn't go to school today. And I'm like, okay, what happened? He said, I got dressed, I got ready, he said, I started to walk out the door, he said, and the bus came, I didn't have my book bag, he said, and I said, you didn't feel like going today, did you? And I said, it's not the book bag or the bus. He said, I just don't want to walk back in and have everybody go, oh, look. And I said, well, Colt, I can't go to school for you. I said, I have to pay all these bills. I'm the only one doing all of this. I said, and I'm getting people in there to help you because I can't. And you need to go to school you're falling behind. I said, and there's no left behind, like they're not going to fail you. You're just going to be left in the dust trying to catch up.
Right.
So I said, let's go to school today. I said, let's get the right people in front of us.
That was today.
That was today. And I said, let's make a plan and we'll figure this out. I said, there's nothing, I kept telling them, there's nothing that we can't overcome that you've already not overcome.
Right.
You've been through a lot and you've done the hard part, So this morning, I can show you the text. I was like, hey, I'm proud of you, what you're doing, everything. It's just a good thing. Just constantly giving them a pep talk. Today,
Yeah, if I could take a picture of that.
yeah, it's all good.
And did you take him to school this morning, or did he normally rides the bus when he goes, so he rode the bus today?
Yeah, yes ma'am. So how it works for me is I get up, I get everybody ready,
Okay.
and then I take little one to school at Austin Road, then I go to work.
Okay.
Those two catch the bus, and then I'm home by the time Junior gets off the bus
Gotcha.
at 3 o'clock.
And Junior's be on this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm usually here when he gets home. So this was today. I said, morning, big boy. I'm proud of you. I love you. And I hope you have a great day today. I will see you this afternoon. He said, getting ready for the bus, and I love you.
Okay.
Yep.
You can keep scrolling. I'm going to kind of take a picture, if you don't mind,
It's
of
fine.
your conversations today.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. Perfect. Okay, I'm keep going.
This is where I'm like, something's wrong.
Okay.
I thought he got in a fight.
Okay, keep going. Okay, keep going. Keep going. Thank you.
So,
Tell me, I have just, that's great information. That is exactly what I, wanted
Okay.
to talk to you about.
yeah.
I have a couple of more specific questions.
Okay.
So, I was told there are weapons in the house.
Yep.
We live in Georgia.
Yep.
Not
Everybody's got them.
everyone has
Yeah.
guns. Tell me about his awareness of those firearms, his
Sure.
past with firearms,
Sure.
hunting,
Yep.
anything like that.
So it originally started with telling him, was like, hey, when I was dealing with all this as a kid growing up, the way I coped with it was deer season. I said, Thanksgiving and Christmas, I said, I was in the woods. I said, Nana Gray used to just raise all kinds of cane because I was always deer hunting. And I said, so this was last year. I said, so let's try to go deer hunting. I said, we'll get through all this together. I said, your mom and I will take care of it one way or the other. I said, our family will be together. And I'll never stop for y'all. And and I'm going to work my butt off. I said, you're going to go to college. I said, that's just how that's going to be. And I said, it's going to be fine. We'll just take it one day at a time. I said, so do you want to try deer hunting? I said, it's the last day of deer season last year.
Okay,
He was like, yeah, he was like, okay. And I said, all right. He was like, but I don't have a rifle. I was like, I know. I said, I've got some. I said, we got to teach you the way around of a firearm and all of that. And he is like OCD about knowing. Like, so he'll break into whatever we're hunting. That rifle was, and he did all his research, and I was like, that's impressive.
So he throws himself into whatever he's interested in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as a treat, I said, hey, I bought a rifle, and I said, it's an AR platform. I said, I know everybody's got one. I said, this will be what you will take hunting with us. And he's like, this will shoot a deer. I'm like, this will shoot a deer.
Tell me about the specs of that firearm.
So the one that we took, this is my daughter. Can I answer this real quick? Jenny? Hey, are y'all back in class? Okay, all right, give me a little bit and I'm headed to you. Okay. All right, bye. So that spec of that firearm was a Bushmaster 450, but that's not what he had. I know what he had today. Okay. Because he shot a deer first time ever in the woods. Okay. It was amazing. It was like, great. I'm like, okay, I'm turning the pay up. Turned the corner with my son. Bonded, like, greatest day ever. Like, in my mind, I swear to God, I thought we were going to, like, he was going to be perfect from then on, Yeah. We had this outlook together. Exactly. So, the only thing is, when he shot the deer, the gun jammed. And we couldn't get the bullet, like, out. It was jammed in there so far that I had to take the top part of it, like, apart, and I couldn't get the bullet out, so I had to point it out the back and I'll take it apart. So the firing pin couldn't hit the bullet. So we got home. Long story short, he was all excited. He's like, but I don't like that gun jam. He said it scared me, and it did. It blew up a big old flash. I said, you go get our stuff back together. We keep doing good. You're doing good. I said, maybe Santa Claus will bring you one. Yeah, I said the guy that gave us the 25 acres was trying to get us to come kill a bunch of coyotes because they're killing all his chickens. And I said, Jamie said he wants us to come take out some coyotes this year. I said, Santa Claus may do something different, a different type of weapon for you. So I bought him. The weapon that he had was a AR-15, it was a 223, and it was a Sig Sauer. And that was kind of like his big Christmas present, where I said, this is for you to hunt with, but it's not a toy. He gave that whole speech and everything, and like he understands how.
And that was his Christmas present this past
Christmas, yeah. And so we've gone to the shooting range a couple times just so he learns gun safety. He took the range test with me. And like he understands what weapons are and how it all works. So I don't know where.
Where was that firearm kept?
So all the firearms are up in my top of my closet in my bedroom. And all the clips are separated and nothing's loaded. They're all up on the top part of the closet. I bought Colt just as hey, I'm going back to school probably a month ago or something. On Amazon they had a good deal on a kind of a red dot scope that he wanted for that thing, so I got it for him.
That was like last month?
At Christmas time was when I bought him that red dot, and it just kept falling off the weapon and he couldn't get it dialed in, so I said, hey, I got you this different style of sight on here. And I said, because you're working hard, you're going to go back to school. I said, I'm going to give you this attaboy. I said, we were planning on going to the range this upcoming weekend, actually, because it was the holidays. I didn't want to go up there. I said, so hey, let's get this thing put on there. I taught him, how to do everything, bore sight, everything, just like in deer hunting terms, like that's how nothing, never imagine in my mind where it's going right now, but just bought him like a little laser 223 on Amazon, and it came the other day, so his scope can be bore sighted.
Got it.
Yep, so we waited till it got dark, and no clip in it. We just went in the backyard, shined it up against the barn.
That was last week?
Yeah, and I said, just crank it in there, and I said, once that thing's set, I said, we'll go to the range and fine tune it. There's nowhere out here that we can shoot around here too close to the houses. So
Where was the ammo kept for that?
So ammo used to be in a box that was in my carport right here, and never in the house. And then I brought some of the ammo that we got, I bought for the range. We just bought like bricks of 9mm or the 223 from Academy, and it's all sitting up there like in the top of the closet.
In your closet,
yeah. So all the clips are empty, and any kind of boxes are up there in the left-hand corner of it.
Okay. All right. And that's where that would all be. There wouldn't be in his room. Like he wouldn't have.
He would have probably the last couple of nights. He was working on his AR on that bore sight. So nothing ever loaded in there. So it was laying in the corner of his room, actually.
The weapon was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But you would say, as far as like his school attendance, personality, becoming very aggressive with you, has started approximately a year-ish ago, and got worse in the last 5 to 7-ish months.
I'd say that's
Would you
fair.
say that's when he started communicating with his mom via phone more, or? And what was, so is she where is she now?
So she's down staying with her mom.
She's still down there?
Yep, and they're actually driving up here.
Now.
Because after all, and I left out this part, sorry, after all that with Lieutenant Guest, a couple days later she shows up here unannounced.
Okay.
Beating on the door and was like not supposed to be here by letter of the law.
Okay.
Made a couple of threats. Kids are in the house. It's all publicized. They couldn't find her for 3 or 4 days, and the mom asked if they could ping her phone, and it was up here somewhere.
Gotcha.
So we were all kind of worried about it because she wasn't in her right mind. Colt's pissed about that.
Gotcha.
And then y'all can look in Barrow County because they ended up, she said something about Walmart in Barrow to her brother.
Gotcha.
And I said, that's where she's at. And I said, what picture do you have, blah,
Sure.
blah, blah. Ultimately, when I got there, I was talking to the attack officer. He's about 7'5".
Okay.
I forget that guy's name.
Okay, I'm sure I can figure it out.
Yeah, I was like, you're the biggest cop I've ever seen. And she walked right out in front of us.
And when was this?
This was probably 6 months ago.
That's when she just showed up completely unannounced after you did
right
one.
after that.
Night we got a call on.
With
or after-
defects,
the
yeah,
defects.
that was like
Gotcha.
all that happened in the next week or so.
Okay.
She was up here, and they found her and all kinds of stuff in her car and all this shit, and they arrested her right there.
Oh, wow.
And they put her into Barrow County. So I'm like, he was, the kids know all of that.
Sure.
There was no confrontation between
Them and her, yeah.
Yeah. So Colt being the oldest, he's pissed about that, and then his biggest thing is he really, none of us, I'm not making light of it like I can, but he can I get by? I can't either, but I can't let them know that.
Sure.
The meth charge, like
It's a big deal.
I can't get my mind wrapped around it to this day, you know? And it's just like,
Has Colt, so yesterday, I know he said he didn't go to school. When he got home, he realized he hadn't gone to school last night. He told you he hadn't. And then, was anything more unusual today when you talked to him last?
No.
Like nothing any more than just the normal kind of Colt behavior he's had?
just normal stuff, and I'm trying to pull up what I said to him, because I just felt like this morning when I was getting Boo Boo ready for school, I turned on his light and I said, "Hey, make sure you please go to school today." I said, "It's very important." I said, "I need to get these counselors involved, and I can't do it until you go." He's like, "No problem." He goes, "I'm sorry." He said, "I'm going to go. Don't worry." I'm like, okay. So this morning leaving, I thought I made a good connection with him. I know he's going to go to school,
Right.
and everything is going to be
He's going to meet with
okay.
the counselors. And all
Yeah,
that.
at least just get in there, be accounted, like not absent, because I told
Sure,
him, like,
to be present at the school.
yes, I'm like, but I'm going to end up in truancy court.
Yeah,
like,
on top of
yeah,
everything.
trying to, like, you know, and that's the balance where I've got two kids that we go. My two younger ones and me are in church every Sunday. They never miss school, and it's like, dang, like,
Does he not normally attend?
he won't go to church with us.
Okay. Does he have any other extracurricular activities that he does, or I suppose this gun stuff seems to have been a positive thing as of
It
recent,
was a
just like something
positive
for him
thing.
to put his mind into.
There's a couple of things that I learned more about my son, and like I was so like we were building momentum. That's why I'm just like stunned.
Yeah.
Is obviously the outdoor stuff, but man, that kid is so gifted musically.
Okay.
Like I bought him a guitar. Like, yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. He took it, and I had to go buy him another like really nice guitar because. Like he can rip it, like he can hear a song and play it. He's that good. He can read music, and I'm always like, Colt,
Yeah.
this is a great thing.
He's obviously really
yeah,
smart.
so it's like, hey, nobody can just sit
No one
down
can
and
do
do
that.
this,
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
that makes a really good
Yes,
point.
and the second thing that he, like, I buy him a new computer tower, like $400. Come home from work, it's in 3,500 pieces on the floor. I'm
What was
like,
that?
what are you doing? He said, I'm rebuilding my computer. I'm like, There's no way, Colt. I'm like, look at all those. I came back, long story short, not only was it working, he swapped out all these graphic cards. He's like, I did this and that. I was like, where did you learn to do this?
Okay.
He said, I just kind
Picked
of,
it up.
yeah. I'm like, Colt, you have so many gifts.
Okay.
Like today, I say the same thing every morning. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
you got a lot of natural gifts, a lot of talents. You're a handsome man. I said, let's go. I said, come on, we'll get through this together, Colt. I said, there's nothing we can't do together.
Yeah.
Like, come on, please. I'll do whatever I have to do for you.
Tell me about his friends. Like, who are the names or people that you hear, or does he?
There's nobody he has ever been like friends with.
Okay.
And now what or who he's talking to on the computer, he pretty much kind of keeps that under wraps.
Okay.
I've never had a reason to go in there and like grill him about.
He's never done anything that caused you to feel like there needs to
Correct.
be any extra
Correct.
monitor on that front.
Yeah.
How about his phone? Does he have a phone?
He
Obviously, he does.
yeah,
You've been texting him.
I bought a Walmart pay-as-you-go. Morris
Pay-as-you-go.
Yeah, this is like the carrot I use for my kids.
What kind of phone is it?
It's like it's not an iPhone.
Not iPhone.
I got an iPhone. It's a
It's a smartphone or something.
it's a Samsung
Okay.
Galaxy.
All right.
Yeah.
Have you noticed him being on his computer or phone more in the last couple of weeks, more than usual, or
No.
just more focused on the gun the last couple of days, or is that pretty
No.
normal since you got it for him to work
For the
on
last week, like the gun, he hadn't even once we got that little bullet in there and he bore sighted it, he just put it back over there. and didn't really do nothing. His big thing was he broke 2 strings on his guitar, and he said that he needed his guitar because he had met somebody and they were playing like not jam sessions, but they were sharing like back and forth licks on the guitar. And I'm like, okay, so I got that guitar string the other day and fixed it, but there's not been like, you know, in fact, that's like one of the things I'm continuing talking to him is like, hey man, you know, like I love hanging out with you and everything, but you know, you need to like make some friends. And you know, I was trying to get him to go deer hunt with us this year, so I got a guy I work with whose son's a couple years older, but same thing, you know, I'm just trying to get him out of the house. He's kind of a, you know, he's a not in the crowd type of person, you know, he just, like, if we go to the grocery store and it's like slam packed, he'll just stay in the truck.
Okay. So he would prefer to be kind of a lone wolf, you would say, or lone. He's not going to be the guy that's bubbling and making a ton of friends.
Yeah, no.
He's more of a focused kid. I mean, that shows in the computer, the music.
Right.
I mean, those are all very specialized, oriented tasks.
Now, if he had a couple people sitting there that shared the same things, he'd be chatty catty.
Sure.
You know,
if it's something he's interested in,
exactly.
knowledge about.
Yeah, but he's more shy than he is like anything else.
Good. All right. And when did you get home today? Tell me that.
So I was at work, and
you said you work where? I'm sorry.
I work for Kevin Price Construction
Okay.
out of Athens.
Okay.
And I'm building fire stations right now, so in Forsyth County.
Okay.
So I was up on the roof this morning, and my little girl texted me and said 3 people at the high school got shot. And I'm like, oh no. I said, well, everything will be okay. And then she said, I'm scared. I said, it's okay. I said, did you talk to Mamu or your mama?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, she usually will call her grandmother.
Sure.
And I'm trying to bridge the gap between her and her mom, but she's kind of pissed at her mom
Sure.
too. So she said she was talking to Mamu. And I said, how did you know that there's people dead? She said, people are just saying TJR, TR, I don't know what that means. She said, no, she misspelled there. I said, what does that mean? She said, there, with a star. I said, have you talked to Colt today? She didn't answer. I said, she said, are you coming to get me in school? And I said, yes. And she said, thank you. So.
Okay. When he left this morning, did you see what he was wearing or anything like that?
No, this morning, well, actually last night, I said, hey, I ironed this shirt and this zip-up jacket for you because it's going to be a little chilly in the morning. Okay. So that was pretty much it.
Do you have cameras or anything on the house, or are you aware if people come and go during the day? Like your kid? No?
No.
Okay. And how frequently, day to day, would you say you talk to Colt, like during the day? Like, do y'all text during work? Like, what is your communication with him like normally?
It's nonstop. Really.
Nonstop?
Yeah, texting and talking to him, you know, to the point where I know I aggravated.
What about today? And I know I just took, it looks like mostly you sending and him not responding.
This was after, like, at 9:42. So that's what I was, let's see. He said, I'm getting ready for the bus. Love you. So he said, I'll text you in about an hour. He said, it's important, so answer. And I figured, okay, he's going to be rolling into school and he likes my pep talks.
Okay.
And I tell him, like, you can do it, just like, if I don't, surprisingly. He's like, I can get a pep talk. I'm like, okay. So I try to.
So you asked her one of those, and that was at 9:42.
Yep.
Okay.
And I said, okay. I said, what are you going to be texting me about? I said, is everything okay? He said, yep. And I said, okay. I really hope you have a great day, Bubba.
Okay.
So that was at 8:30. And then at 9:42, he said, just out of the blue, I hadn't been talking to him. I was actually having a job meeting about the crane on site.
Okay.
And out of the blue, he says, I'm sorry, it's not your fault. That was the two texts that just, and I wasn't talking to him. And I said, what's wrong, Bubba? I said, you didn't do anything. And he didn't answer. And I said, hey, like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
So,
Let me get a picture of that. I get to make sure.
yeah, so that was at 9:43. And then he answered at 10:03. Do you want to try the times in there?
Yeah, can you pull it over to the left for me just so I can?
Oh, hang on.
Sorry, I know you're busy. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and
Was that his last text to you though? That one
this
there?
was, this is where it went green because he said, no, I love you, Jenny and Coley. That's when I jumped off the roof. I said, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And he said, you're not to blame for any of it. And I started climbing down the ladder, telling my people, I've got an issue, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
This is what you have to do. I'm responsible for like a bunch of people on the job, and I've got a huge crane there today. So I'm trying to fire orders out to everybody to make sure they do what I need. And by the third one of these, like it's clear,
Yeah, you
like
know
I can tell
something's
something
not
wrong.
right.
So I'm like, Bubba, please tell me you're okay. Colt, please call me. Son, like I don't know what it was. And I thought, okay, his mom came up for a visit and they had a little bonding and they dyed his freaking hair.
When was that?
This was like a couple weekends ago. Like he wanted to. And it was kind of funny, except for he's got brown hair, like chocolate colored hair. And he came out with the worst, like, I'm like, you look like Kurt Cobain, like got stuck in the dryer. I was like, do you like it? I'm like, buddy, it looks awesome, but it was terrible. And I couldn't tell him that. I'm like, man, it looks great, you know? So,
Yeah.
he just like, I saw him like somebody must have said something about his hair. Like I was really worried about it because like it's sort of blondish, yellowish, and then it's got that like terrible dye job where the brown starts coming back, and I just was like, oh, somebody said something to him, and he's so self-conscious.
Well, and he's just getting back to school, like he just got in his hope.
I swear to God, like I thought that's what this was.
Okay.
I said, and there was a way in my mind, I was like, please let him have walked out before he smacked somebody. Like I thought he went hands on with somebody. Because they are ruthless. Like they're going to say something about his hair.
Has he ever mentioned specifically names of people that you thought were bullying him?
No names. And it's a very serious topic in our house. And like if I ask, they're pretty straightforward. Like, hey, this is
what's going on. Like,
so I have a rule kind of in our house that like, I call it bubble. So I came up with something for my kids like I didn't have. Like I couldn't go to my mom or dad and say, I just failed math and science.
Sure.
And I put a golf ball through all 4 of the windows in the house. And I rolled your car today. My dad would have beat the shit out of me. So I created, just to improve communication, a bubble that you step in the bubble, and if it's bad, you need to get in the bubble automatically. We have to agree to 3 rules. No yelling, no lying, and no cussing. You agree to that, I'm not your dad, you're not my son or daughter. What's wrong? And I can't get mad when I get out of the bubble. We just work on the trouble. So I'm trying to encourage them, the bigger the mess up, the sooner I need to know. Not for trouble, but to help. So we'll call bubble if I feel something's wrong, you know, and I'm like, hey, I said, just, you know, if something happened, just you know, just, you can tell me, we'll go up to that school. And I said, you're so far behind, you can't go up there and like be on the shit list right off the bat. So just try to, you know, I don't know. I was trying
Is
to
this
do
his
the best
first year
I can. Yeah. So we signed him up last year to go to 8th grade where his sister goes. And the first day of school came and he threw a fit for 8th grade. He didn't want to go. And I'm like, what?
And where is she at, you said?
She's right next door to Heck Morris. He was supposed to go there last year. Well, the change, all that was going on, like he just couldn't do it on the first day. So I said, all right, we'll try the second. Like, no. Then my mother-in-law and all of her wisdom while I'm at work, and he's out of school the second day, says, well, hey, how about if we sign you up for online school? And that's all it took.
Oh, of course.
And I'm like, no, we can't do that.
Right.
I said, you have to go to school. And he's like, no, man, Lou showed me. And she like broke it down, like
Okay.
showing him that, yeah, he truly could go to online school. And I'm like,
So he probably already didn't want to physically go to school after knowing that was an option.
yeah. And so it's just like, I don't know if what's happened with his mom and, you know, the back and forth about all of that, and, you know, just the way that kind of when he was down there trying to get him locked up in YDC, and there's a riff, you know, and that's why I said, we'll just come here and we'll decide who comes and stays. And I know she's your mama,
Sure.
but you have to be adding value to the family. You can't come here.
Yeah, just cause problems. Yeah, I understand.
So I'm trying to instill in him that, like, hey, your brother and your sister are watching. Like, little Colin is watching you.
Yeah.
Just like, even if you feel like crap that day, still try to be a good person for your brother.
Yeah, like a good role model.
Yeah, you know?
Have you been in his room today and looked around or anything like
When
that?
I got home, I walked in and I'm like,
Sorry, do you know? I don't know if that's one of us, Amelia.
in that black car, there's 3 or 4.
Okay, I was just trying to make sure that it
Yeah.
wasn't someone that you didn't. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I came home and was like, man, I go into his room and I just had the feeling like, but then I'm like, I'm overreacting. I'm like, there's no way. I mean, how the hell is he going to walk across the yard with a long rifle and get on a bus? There's no way this is him. And by then, his sister's doing what she's doing now, calling her every 5 minutes. His mom and his grandmother. And I'm like, it's fine. Everybody's watching the news. And I said, hell, it's not him. I said, all the guns are accounted for. They're in my closet. And I said, except for the one Colt put that laser in. I said, I'll call you in a minute. So as soon as I got here, I opened that door, Fox News, I left the TV on, and sure enough, there's Appalachia High, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I go down to his bedroom, and I just stuck my head inside there, and there's his 2 guitars, and it's laying over there in the corner, and it's not there.
Okay.
So I called his mom, and I'm like, how in the hell does he get on the bus? Or is there somebody else involved here? Like, I don't understand. Like, how in the hell, like, nobody's talking to me. I know what happened, and I'm upset and sad, but I'm really pissed because that kid, man, like, this is so wrong. And he is just, he's been feeding us a whole bunch of, yep, I want to get better, we're going to go to the thing, and talk to his grandmother, like, hey. So I just stuck my head in there and called his mom and said, well, stand by.
Yeah.
I said, because his AR is not here.
Okay.
And then y'all started beating on the door.
Yeah. I'm gonna find out what information I can give to you at this time. That's one thing I'm going to try to do for you, because I'm sure you have 9 million things going through your head right now.
And I've got to
And you
get
have
my
other
GED.
kids. Yes, so that's important as well.
It's the only thing that I'm like,
Okay.
it's just a normal, like, I can't believe it's
Also,
like,
though, do you have any follow-up questions?
Yeah, I've got a few.
all right, what you got?
I have a 15-year-old. And
I was told I didn't see any.
phase with a split dyed hair. And the whole
Okay,
thing.
good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I feel better.
Very frustrating.
It is.
And it's tough. You don't know what to say, and you don't know what to do, and you don't understand why. It's very much like you. My dad would have beat my ass if I showed up with something like
And I
that.
try to just, like,
I know.
when it gets confrontational, I try to just talk about it. Like, I will not,
Yeah, it sounds like you have a good process
Yeah,
that
you
you've been doing.
I will not.
You've been way more understanding than most.
Yeah, my parents, I would be halfway to China by now,
Yeah,
probably.
like, I will not, like, my daughter is like, you know, like, I will not touch my children. I will not strike my kids.
Yeah,
Like, it's not
and
gonna happen.
that's, that's.
And he knows that.
Right. Well, and I know that this is hard to talk about, but I want to get a little more in depth.
You're good, go ahead.
Met with counselors, y'all talked to counselors.
Yeah.
What exactly have the counselors said? Have they given any sort of mental health diagnoses, anything like that?
No, the one now, as far as the counselors at school go, he has not sat down and had like a full on that I'm aware of with the counselors at school, other than the conversation about. Can I look at my phone?
Yeah.
This will be the email.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you if you didn't mind. We would love to get
Yeah.
a copy of that just so that we have it as
Yeah,
well.
so Jade Baker, Lisa Butler, and I'll just forward this to you if you just tell me.
Yeah,
But
if
it's
you don't
called,
mind.
yeah, it's all good. It's so Project Aware. So they sent me this original email, basically what I fill out paperwork for them to be involved. And I'm like, absolutely, like, I'm trying to get him to sit down, but I just got my insurance actually like last week, so I've been waiting for my medical insurance. And then the lady I thought I was going to take him to doesn't take my insurance, United Healthcare. So this is Lisa Butler sent me this and asked me to fill this out
Okay.
for Colt.
When was that?
This was last week.
Okay.
So they had this. I filled it out and said, absolutely, I would like expedite. Can we just get, like, I know he needs somebody, not to this level clearly. Like, I know he's like a normal kid and he's dealing with a bunch of crap. Like, I swear to God, like that, this was the last thing, like, it's not even like I get it, he's a hothead, I was too, like that, I'm more worried about breaking windows or skipping school. That's gonna be the worst thing I gotta deal with him.
This was
And
not on your radar.
this was not on my damn radar. So this is the email, and I'll just forward you the last one so y'all
I'm
have
going to
it.
give you my email so you
Yeah.
can send me all of that.
Yeah. But she was like, what they can offer Colt. All right, and they were asking, was it okay for them? Yeah, no, it's all good. And that's what I was waiting for was, okay, hell, if they're involved, my main thing with them was, if they're involved with the school, does my insurance even matter?
Sure.
If it doesn't, then let's get
Let's
him in
just
there
go for
like
it.
right now.
So I see that it says anxiety. Is that something that he has said he feels?
Yeah, he said he feels anxiety, and you know, I tell him, well, drinking a Rockstar doesn't help anxiety. Yeah. So he's, you know, he doesn't drink a lot of those, but I told him, I'm like, if you get anxious at all, this is not what you drink. So
When did he last express back to you?
he pretty much has anxiety. He feels like every day,
Okay.
you know. So like I'll just, like the only thing I know to do is like, hey, here's some melatonin stuff at night. I said, just help you stay mellow and get some sleep. And then, you know, there'll be some weekends where he's up on the computer gaming and like I hear it all night. And he'll stay up all night playing those games with everybody. And, you know, the main thing is not the anxiety comes with what I was telling you was I've narrowed it down to sleep. And as soon as he passes a line in the sand, that's it. It's all over right there.
Wait, the computers and everything. Have you ever looked through his computer or looked through his phone?
No, he keeps everything so like coded and everything because he's afraid I'm going to do it. And I don't know what the heck's on there, to be honest with you, but I always try to keep him thinking that I know what I'm doing on a computer, but he's got all these firewalls and shit where I don't know how I'm getting there, but he thinks I can.
Have you ever overheard any of the conversations like with people he's gaming with?
Yeah.
No, not really. It's always been about, and I've walked in there where he gets all wound up and he's playing Call of Duty. Yeah, he's playing Call of Duty.
So that is that like his go-to?
Yeah, at night if he's up most of the night, he's gaming.
And he's using like a computer,
Yeah.
not Xbox or PlayStation?
No, he's got both.
So he's got both.
Yeah.
So he's usually using his computer.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
Going all the way back to 7th grade.
Yep.
I know some of the bullying you said started in
Yep.
Jefferson.
Yep.
What was he being bullied about? You know, what was it? Looks? Was it attitudes?
Yeah, no, he's more of he is just kind of like he's real quiet. Like he won't go out of his way to talk or introduce himself or anything like that. And it started with a group of people in middle school that there was a kid, there were 2 guys and 3 girls, and he would sit at the end of the lunch table and just by himself basically. And one of the kids would come by and it's okay, and it started with them flicking him in the ear.
Okay.
And that's the first time I went up to the school. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
we're not just yik-yakking now. I know it's just a flick in the ear, but you know they made contact with him, and I don't want to make sure we're doing the right thing here. And you got people on this, and it just kind of kept going on all year. And I said, listen, can we? Like the 3rd or 4th time I went to Jefferson, I'm like, can we like have him just show up for school? And like, I know this is terrible, but I was in ISI in high school a lot because I'm the only boy of 4 sisters. So.
Gosh, okay.
So
Shut up, Sim.
No need for explaining.
Yep, I got it. So that was just something to where he didn't and has never really been around a lot of bullying, obviously. And I don't know if he knew how to respond. I just told him, do not touch anybody else.
Yeah.
Like they're touching you, but 2 wrongs don't make a right. So we kind of back and forth about that, and it was clear by the end of the year that when he came home, he was like, listen, I'm good. I'm 7th grade over. He's like, I don't want to go back to that school. I'm like, okay, well, where do you want to live? It's just us now. He said, I want to get as close to Statham so I know where we're at. And I'm like, okay, so that's how we ended up here.
And this was before the littles came back up here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And going into his room a little bit. I know you said that you knew where his guitars were.
Mm-hmm.
Knocked yourself out. You knew where he kept that rifle in his room.
Yep.
Okay. Have you ever been in his room further than just sticking your head in?
Oh, yeah. I'll go in there and sit on the bed and talk to him about whatever we're talking about. Bring him dinner, I cook dinner every night, bring him in there if he's in the middle of something, So, yeah, I'm in there quite a bit.
Okay. Did you ever see anything in his room that concerned you?
I mean, no, and I'm on like full alert for it just because of what's going on, and I'm the rift between him and his mom. He's not going to school, so I'm like, I've been looking for
Pictures, posters,
No.
notes, conversations,
no.
meetings left laying out.
Nope, he had this weird poster on his wall of some guy with a red wig on. I'm like, who is that? And he was like, oh, I'm glad you just said that.
Yeah, what did he say about that guy?
So it wasn't that guy. It was the guy who was on his wall 2 days ago. And I walked in and I'm like, where's the punk band dude? And I said, who's that? He goes, you don't know who that is? I'm like, no. I said, I don't know who it is, and why is he on your wall? He's like, oh, it's no big deal. I'm like, okay. So I let it go, finished dinner, like, hey, I'm gonna go take a shower, and then me and Boo Boo gonna watch a movie. And I said, where'd that picture go? And he said, oh, I took it down. I said, well, who was he? He goes, you really don't know who that was? I'm like, I'm asking who it is. He goes, oh, that's one of the guys that did that last school shooting. Okay, and that was maybe 2 or 3 days ago when I saw that
2 or 3
picture.
days ago?
Yeah.
What did he say why he had that? Or what is it?
He didn't say anything other than like I had no idea what that. It didn't look like something wrong with that kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I just
What kind of
didn't
picture
get it.
was it?
So it was like a magazine headshot of like a brown-haired like teenager, like late teens, and he had glasses.
And he put that the same place that he had previously had his like
That rock star thing.
redhead
Yeah.
poster.
And now that you just said that, I didn't even think about looking in there for that. But somebody said something about a warrant, so I guess y'all go in the house anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you understand why.
Well,
We gotta go
yeah.
there.
And my little sister is a retired lieutenant out in Las Vegas, so
Well, then you know what we're doing.
I know exactly what y'all are doing, and like I'm just pissed.
What about a firearm in a silver toolbox or a pelican case? Is any of that familiar to you?
Yeah.
What did you say?
A firearm that was in a silver toolbox or a pelican case in your trunk. You familiar with that?
No, I don't have a Pelican case.
Okay. What about, do you have a toolbox on that truck? I didn't even see.
No.
Okay. So, this morning, no, I'm sorry.
No, what was that? Because I'm like, that's the kind of stuff right there.
So,
I was even in the room
as you
and
can
heard
see,
that.
there's like 100 people just here at the school this morning. There's stuff getting thrown all around. So,
Yeah, and then I
I'm
saw
not sure what this even
the
is.
state troopers like ripped out of here, and I'm like,
Well, so this is what I want to tell you. And if you have more questions, I don't want to get you sidetracked.
Yeah.
Finish your questions.
Okay.
I'll give them a spiel later.
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry.
You're good.
I'm going to give myself a star. Spiel later.
So, no, I want to, because this is you saw the news. You know that there's some serious stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
And so we have got to get every detail and every bit of
Yeah.
information about him and his behavior and what
Yeah.
he's going through.
Yeah.
When it comes to his mother, when is the last time they have spoken to each other?
I guess over the weekend they were texting,
Okay.
and she's down in Fitzgerald with her mom.
Does she have any sort of mental health issues? And I know the meth has come up, but is there anything?
No, I mean, and that's really the whole deal for her. Is like it was such a shock for everybody. It's like this is like, degreed engineered, like we were married, like we were knocking down tons of money.
Yeah.
And obviously I didn't know what to do with it, clearly. But like drinking, so when all that happened, it's like, what the hell is
Still
going
in shock. Yeah.
I'm still shocked. The kids are still shocked from it. So, but and Colt does not hold back,
Yeah.
with his mom. He calls it like he sees it, and where I couldn't say it, when it was finally like out in the open, Colt was like, I knew it. You know, it's like, but they don't have like a back and forth kind of relationship. It's, you know, she knows him like when to talk and when not to talk when he's in those moods, right? So he's frustrated with her, and she's doing better, and I'm trying to be the glue that holds this whole family together. And as bad as some of the choices that were made, I don't know if this is right or not, but I'm trying to just show her kids, like, look, she's doing the right thing.
Well, you're not, you know, if you tell a kid you can't do that, can't have that,
Right.
can't be around her, they're
Yeah.
going to do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought.
That's why she's
Get more-
asking out, like, what
Yeah.
is their relationship like, I guess?
You know, he's pissed about her and hanging us out to dry and running the roads with brother in the car. Like, he's probably got more anxiety over her and wants to let it rip more than I do.
Yeah.
You know, because I can't allow my kids to see me lose it on their mom. There's no reason for me to say what I would have said 20 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
God, I sound old, but now it's like, you know, hell, I don't need to tell you, you know?
Has Colt ever been, and I know you said you don't lay hands on your kids
Yeah.
or anything, but has he ever been physically abused by anybody? Anybody in the family, at school?
Was
No,
it his mom? Because I know she's down there. Like, did you guys
no,
say something?
there was nothing to where, now she came up there this last weekend came up with her mama and everything's good, and just to kind of hang out and kind of convince him, like, look, hey, I'm sticking to the guns. I made a promise with you. I'm going to rehab. And you need to do the same thing.
Okay.
But when she
She
came,
was familiar he was having issues.
yeah. But what happened was she came up here, and I don't know what or why, because when I went to work, came home, she was just different, like Friday, the last time she was up here. And I'm like, what's wrong? And she was like, oh, I just feel kind of crappy. And I'm like, okay. And so it was supposed to be a day or a weekend where she could hang out with her kids. She stayed in bed for 2 or 3 days. And that's something where trying to explain to her, I'm like, that's a trigger for the kids. Like, they're going back to originally how you were every day that they saw you while I'm at work. And I said, Colt, that's his trigger. Like, if you're sick, then you need to call your mama, or I'll take you and meet you back home. Like, they can't see you like this. So turns out she had a urinary tract infection and some kind of stomach bug. So I'm like, okay. So I told Colt, like, hey, she just laid here, but here's what was wrong with her.
There was something actually going on. It wasn't.
Yeah, I was like, he was like, yeah, but you never know. Like, he just has no trust in her. And I'm like,
It's hard to build that trust.
it's very hard. And I'm like, she legit was sick, buddy. I'm just telling you. So I said, they're coming to get her. Her mom and dad are coming back up here. I'm going to work. And that was, I guess, the end of last week, maybe Friday. I need to think about it. But anyway, they had a falling out before school, and
Colin and his mom.
yeah,
Okay.
and he was texting me, and I'm like, what are y'all fighting about? And like, you need to be getting your shit together and going to school. Why are you arguing with your mom? It started early that morning. Then I didn't hear anything from anybody. At lunch, I called her and I said, hey, is everything okay? He make it to school. Like, this was his, first day back. And she was like, no. Mama came and picked me up, and Colt was here. And I'm like, no, he wasn't. He was at school. And she said, no. He was in his room, and when we came and started cleaning out all of my stuff, said he walked out of his room. Nobody knew he was there. I'm like, I have a text. He was at school. And she goes, no, he wasn't. So I called the school. They're like, no, he wasn't at school today. I'm like, okay. So I came in and I'm like, what in the hell is going on? He's like, Mama, I don't know what. I'm like, why'd you lie about going to school? He said, when her father tried to get him thrown in YDC down there, it was just ugly like mess.
What was that about?
Yeah, ever since I said I do, her dad is like, it's like the true shotgun wedding.
Oh boy. Yeah.
And so he's a 2-time Olympian pole vaulter, and like it's shitty because he's got a great heart, and he's put so many kids in school on full scholarship to teach them how to pole vault, but he has no people skills. Like he's terrible,
Yeah.
and like he doesn't even know his own kids. So that's when they were staying down there, and I'd come back up here to start work and try to get enough money so we could move back up here. All this rift stuff with them, and so when all that happened, the dad and Colt had a big falling out. He was saying if he ever showed up back down there that the grandfather was like, we'll throw you in YDC, blah, blah, blah. So just a shitstorm. When they showed up to take her, it was just supposed to be her mom. And when they showed up to take her and bring her stuff, the dad was with her. And so that was bad, but not as worse as me going arguing like Colt is at school and then him calling me and going, I'm sorry, I didn't go to school.
Yeah.
Like, so you just played right into their hands. Now it looks like I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Makes it look like you're not aware of where your kids are.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, you know, so like and it's such a fine line I have to walk with him when I'm saying that, because I'm trying to build him back up. I'm like, hey, we can push through this, and Mama does all, like, it's fine. Well, I just don't try to just beat them down, whether they're wrong, or just like, hey, let's learn from this, build them back up, and just keep trying to be positive and positive. But that was the last time they were like face to face, and I was at work, and they took her. I think it was last Thursday,
Okay.
but they'll know because they've got the absentee thing at school. So
Now, was that around the same time as the hair dyeing?
no, it was probably the week after. you know?
Okay.
Yeah, the week after. No, the hair dyeing kind of blew over, and everybody was like, okay, well, then thought it was cool except for me, but I didn't say nothing.
You had mentioned, I'm sorry, I've been talking about, you had mentioned, like, Colt's mom, alcohol and drugs and stuff. Is there any reason you would suspect or have noticed or thought that when she has been up here, since she's been up here recently, could she have been supplying him with either of those?
No, I don't. And
No?
even if it was even remotely a possibility for it to be in that house, like this is why I'm just stunned, is because Colt would have the DEA put a helicopter in that front yard
Okay.
and help them find it.
Okay. So
Like
he's
that.
just, because of the mom, he's
Yep.
so against,
Nope.
because he saw it, I did. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Like 100%.
Okay. Okay.
Do you keep any alcohol in the house or anything?
No, I hate alcohol so bad. Like
Yeah.
I can't even. No, there's no alcohol in that house.
All right, well, focusing on specifically today, this morning, and the events of today.
Sure.
This firearm, you said that he got the rifle at Christmas. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. And then something kind of not broke with it, but something got jammed. So
Yeah. So the original rifle that we went deer hunting with killed the deer, but it jammed.
That was the Bushmaster.
That was the Bushmaster.
okay. So then you got a new one at Christmas.
Yep. So I took it back to Mike's gun room. That's the only place we go. And I was like, hey. He's like, damn. I'm really sorry. He even told Colt, he's like, I'm sorry, pick one out.
Okay.
I was like, don't pick one out. Like,
Yeah.
I just wanted to show Mike, hey, can you fix this? And I'm like, all right. I was like, Coach, you can wait in the truck. I just wanted to see. And I told Mike then, I was like, look, I said, I don't want this one. I said, it's kind of dangerous, and he's freaked out by it. I said, but when I come back for Christmas, I said, let's just get him one. I don't need top of the line. I just need something that we can throw down in the mud and go coyote hunting. He doesn't have to worry about anything jamming. And he was like, okay. So that's what we ended up with. So, like, he is, like, I'm just shocked because he is very gun conscious, safety, and like he gets it.
I was going to go to the next question. I'm assuming if you're going to like a range, if
Sure.
he knows firearms,
Oh yeah,
he knows.
yeah. Like he took the test at the range pass place. You know, I'm like, he's like, you have to take it. I'm like, I know. You're shooting too. You take it.
Yeah.
So I made him take it with us, and Jenny went the last time and watched us do all of that. So there's safety measures, glasses, ear protection. Like they do it how it should be done. And we have not physically gone out shooting outside of that, like at a range in a not controlled environment yet. We haven't done that yet. So the goal, well, we went deer
Besides
hunting.
hunting.
Yeah, that was the one. Like I literally bought him that rifle like a couple of days before we went deer hunting. So
Okay.
that's the extent of that.
As far as you mentioned that, like, how could he walk on a bus with a long rifle?
Yep.
You know, is this a firearm? I know, like our Daniel defense rifle is what we carry. You know, we can basically take them apart into two pieces and break them down. Is he
Yeah.
familiar with how to do things like that? I mean,
No, he actually was asking me the last time we went, and I was unsure with that SIG how to break it all down. I said, so the only thing that I do, I said, we only shot like 50 to 75 rounds that day. I said, all I do is I don't break anything apart because I'm not sure how it all goes back together. So I said, I lock the bolt back. I said, and I take the wire brush that comes with that caliber, taught him how to, clean it. I said, I clean the barrel. I wipe down anything that we were holding a lot of, wipe down the barrel, and then spray it with Remy oil just to keep the rust off of it. That's the extent of his knowledge as far as breaking down a weapon. He couldn't, like, if we told him to do it, he couldn't do it. That I'm aware of. I never taught him to do it because I have no idea. Yeah.
and I think that's a good question to have. Like, how did he get on the bus? Does he carry a backpack?
He does. Yeah, it's a Jan Sport backpack. We just bought the same one that he wanted for his little thing. And I'm just telling you, man, like, his little sister, man, idolizes him even when he is just being a total ass. Like, your sister thinks you own the moon, dude. Like, come on. And I'm just sitting here like, what the hell am I going to tell her?
As far as, I know you talked about he's been physical with you before.
Yeah.
Has there ever been any of those instances at school where he's gotten physical with anybody? You're aware of?
No. And the only time it's ever been that was at Jefferson, and I was called about that. But full-on fights or ain't really even any kind of bullying or chippiness or like nothing like that at school. So.
Okay. And I know you said he was kind of falling behind
Yeah.
grades-wise and stuff.
Yeah.
Have he had any difficulties with teachers?
Well, so, man, you should work for the GBI. When you get older, you're going to be a good one. That just jogged my memory. So, very good. So, when he went that day, first day or whatever, and he wasn't having the smoothest day, his first initial try back, right?
Yeah.
So when he came back home, I'm like, hey, I said, what's the deal? I said, is it students? And please tell me it's not bullying. Like, I'm worried about that. And I'm just waiting for him to say, oh, they're giving me crap about his hair. And he was like, no. He said, but I just feel like the math teacher is out to get me.
Okay.
And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And he was like, just the interaction that we had. I mean, it was such a, like, that is such a left field statement. I kind of felt like he's kind of like, okay.
Like maybe there's more to
Like maybe my dad's being she's turning into a buckhead Betty. So I'm gonna mess with him. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? You know? So
Take your time.
I just don't know where and what the hell happened.
I don't want to touch the shoulder. I don't want to.
It's okay. No, it's okay.
I
It's all right.
like so many people, but I'm like, don't touch it. He doesn't want to be touched.
No, it's all good. I just, man, I got, like I have to have all the answers here in a very short amount of time.
I know. It's an unreal scenario we're
And
all in right now.
my
especially
little boy, little Colin Jr. is about to step off that bus.
Okay.
In like
Yeah, we're about to wrap up.
4 minutes, and he's gonna want to know what the hell everybody's doing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll probably be talking to you again at some point.
We need numbers, cards.
Yes. So
You
let
need
me,
anything from me?
if you can forward me,
We'll meet. We'll go through whatever we have to until everybody's got everything that they need from me.
Kelsey, you want to put your stuff on the back of this card?
I'm out because
The
I
other
got
thing
other
is
cases here.
I don't know. I'm gonna try to get this out. I don't know
So treated.
what all has happened, but man, if he is responsible for anything,
So that's the spiel I'm going to give you. First, I want to tell you, this is not your fault. And you're going to, in the coming weeks, you're going to see things, you're going to hear things, people are going to say things, and they're not going to be kind. And me telling you this is not going to mean anything, but I need you to just hear me say this to you as someone that has never spoken to you before. You sound like a great dad.
apparently not.
But listen, you have to listen to me. When things like this happen, you can't blame yourself. You have to be what you've been doing all along, which sounds like a great father figure and doing the best you can. And honestly, you sound like a great dad. I mean, you have really been doing some incredible work in all your kids' lives and holding it together in situations that are
Apparently
unbearably
not.
difficult.
Something happened I never even could imagine this
But here's the
happening.
thing. You are doing all the steps.
We'll come around and search.
You come around. You were doing all the steps. So you need to hear that from me. When you see the things you're going to see and what you hear, she's going to open the door.
We'll get on this side.
Okay.
You have to understand that you have to keep being this dad, the dad that you just described, because your kids are going to need you to be that and keep being that, okay? 2, the GBI is handling this, and we are available to talk, answer questions when we can answer questions. But also, if you hit a wall one day and you're like, no, I can't do this anymore, I need you to know you gotta call us, okay? Because we have resources, and you're gonna need resources. Because you just are. You're going to get to a point where you're like, you know what?
I'm there.
This is, I know, and you're going to be, and it may be today that we just need to go on and start working on that, but at the same time, this is going to be big. When it does come out, when we can tell you all the information, it's going to be hard, okay? I am sorry that I cannot sit here and give you all the details right now as a parent, because I can only imagine, I am a new parent, I can only imagine what you have going through your head right now. I am going to try to find out, okay? I just sent a text. But you have to trust that there's a process that we're working, and there are hundreds of people right now that we are having to get information from, and we relay. So there's just a lot of moving parts, and I don't want you to feel like you're being pushed to the side or not
I
prioritized.
just know something bad has happened, and I want to apologize to somebody who don't know who.
No, that is not a priority right now. And also, you need to worry about you, and you need to worry about your kids, okay? And getting off the bus and be the parent you've been being. So I'm going to try to get answers for you. I'm putting my phone number on here. I'm putting that's my cell number.
Okay.
And then my email is on here. Amelia's information is on the other side.
Okay.
The case agent, I'm going to write his name on here for you.
Okay.
That's going to be Nick Johnson.
I know y'all busy. I'll try not to bother
No. You are part of our busy, and you're going to be a priority because your family they are the priority, to be completely honest with you. They are the most important thing. So, you call that.
You know that obviously
Yeah.
something bad has happened, or else it would not.
Yep.
But something has also bad happened to you and in your family.
Yeah.
To tell everybody different.
Yeah.
We are completely sympathetic and understand that.
Yeah.
So you're not ostracized from us. You're not going to be shut down from us after this, okay?
You're also not just
I'm afraid of
a family, okay? Like, this is, we at the GBI, like, it's not just words, like, we want to make sure that there's a two-way path here of communication, and I want you to understand that.
I'm scared for Jenny to go back to school.
I know you are. And to be completely honest, those are going to be decisions that have to be made today when we can brief you on more.
Okay.
But we're going to be here to help guide you through that.
Yeah.
All of our supervisors are here. We're going to have them come out here eventually. Right now they're kind of managing the floods. But you're going to meet them. You're going to have point of contact. The case agent, I'm sure, eventually, it may not be today because he's got a lot he's managing, is going to come make contact with you or make contact with you via phone. What's going to happen now is, yes, you are correct. So a warrant has been gotten for your house. They are going to do a warrant. I will tell you, when we do search warrants of residences, we are probably going to make a mess, but we are going to try very hard to get that house back into an order when we are done. We do not like to leave you in shambles because you don't need another thing to worry about. I can't promise.
Well, Sunday was laundry day, so everything's folded on the couch.
We're gonna do a lot of digging in there, and it's gonna take us a while. That being said, while that is going on, because it is going to take a long time, I want you as a dad to just do dad, okay? Do dad for your kids. Find out where y'all can go hang out,
Yes,
okay? That's what I need you to do. I am gonna turn my recorder off, but after we're done with the interview, I need to get some just like logistic data from you, okay?
That's fine.
So I'm gonna turn this off at it's exactly 3 o'clock on the dot.
You mentioned that once you turn the recorder off, you were going to have to get some logistical data. What did you end up doing?
Well, I got his date of birth and that kind of stuff, and then I asked him if we could take his cell phone and download it. We were going to have it downloaded, and we completed a consent to search form at that time that he signed, agreeing to let me take that phone to have it downloaded.
I'm going to show you what's marked as Stacy at 183. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize that as?
This is the waiver of constitutional rights to a search warrant of an electronic and or a cellular device.
Okay. And is that a fair and accurate copy of that consent to search form?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, this time I'd like to introduce into evidence Stacy Exhibit 183.
No objection.
And so that was the one that was filled out by Colin Gray at 3:06 on September 4th?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So at the end of your interview with the defendant, you said you had to give him a spiel. Is that part of rapport building?
Yes, it is. So at the end of interviews, especially in situations like this where the person is emotional, I try to get everyone back on kind of a collected field, because I know that I knew we were going to be needing to make contact with him again, and there was going to need to be a two-way road of communication. So I wanted to make sure that he understood what it was going to be like moving forward.
Okay. And so your goal is for him to remain cooperative with you?
That's correct.
Okay. And is that part of getting the consent to search form when you're talking to him, maintaining that rapport, maintaining that cooperation?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So at the beginning of the interview, and then obviously there was the part that you spoke to him after your recorder was turned off. I guess the beginning of the interview was a little muffled, so I want to go through some things from the interview to make sure we didn't miss anything.
Sure.
When the defendant was talking to you, did he mention that defects was involved with their family when they were down in Fitzgerald?
Yes, he did.
Specifically regarding the search for how to kill your dad?
Yes, he did talk about that.
Okay, I did not hear that in the interview.
Let me see. I know that he mentioned that defects had been out to the house because he told me about him breaking a window but he may not have mentioned talking about the specifics of how to kill your dad.
Okay. And then, and I also wanted to see, did he mention anything about going to West Jackson Middle School?
No, I don't think he did. He just mentioned that they were living in Jefferson.
Okay. He mentioned in his interview that Colt had never done anything to make him feel like he needed to do extra monitoring on his computer. At any point, did the defendant mention that the Jackson County Sheriff's Office had come out because Colt had threatened to shoot up a school or was being investigated for threatening to shoot up a school?
No, he never brought that up during the interview.
He also, during the interview, he talked about Marcy leaving and going back home after, I guess she had been up there for a few weeks. Did he at any point mention that the reason she left was because Colt and her got in a fight over the firearm or over his rifle?
No, he did not mention why she had left or what
Okay.
the altercation was about.
During the interview, it appeared somebody was chewing something. Can you tell us what that was?
Yes, if I remember correctly, he had a cup of ice. Like he was drinking a cup of ice and he was chewing up his ice while we were
Okay.
doing
Was
the
it a
interview.
QT cup?
I do believe it was a QT cup.
Okay. And when you first started talking to him, it was approximately how long after the shooting?
Approximately three and a half hours.
Okay. Okay. In that interview, you talked to him about Jenny sending him some text messages. I am going to show you these. These are text messages that are from State Exhibit 156. They are from September 4th, and they are between Jenny and the defendant. During the course of your interview, he showed you some text from Jenny. Is that correct?
Yes, he did.
Okay, so I want to read through first the text that he showed you from Jenny. So we'll start there at the top text.
I'm sorry.
No, Judge, we're not objecting to the text messages. We would object to going out to the jury, but that's a conversation for later.
So Jenny sent the defendant a text message at 10:55, and can you just kind of read us through the text messages between Jenny and the defendant that he read to you?
Yes. So she sent her dad a text that said, "I'm scared," and then he responded, "It's going to be okay." And then he said, "Who did you talk to, Mama or Mamu?" And Mamu is Deborah Polhamus, his mother-in-law. And she said, 3 people are dead at the high school. Jenny responded with that. And he said, "How do you know?" in all lowercase. And then when she didn't respond, he, a couple seconds later, sent in all caps, "How do you know?" And then in all caps, she responded, "People are saying," and TJRTR was an email. And then she sent back, "Please, I'm scared. I can't call you. I'm in a lockdown." And then he asked, "What is TJRTR?" And that's when she corrected and said there. And he said, "Did you talk to Colt today?" And Jenny said, "Are you coming to the school?"
And she sent that at 11:11 a.m.
Yes, that was 11:11 a.m. And then at 11:11 he responded yes. And then the last text that he actually showed me was at 11:12, and she said thank you.
Okay, and at this time I want to read the text that the defendant did not show you. So what is the next text that Jenny sent to the defendant?
So the next text that she sent was, "They may not let us out of our lockdown thing when you arrive, but still stay." And that was at 11:15. And then at 11:15 he responded, "Well, I'm OTW," which means on the way. He says, "Have you heard from Colt?" And quite a while later, so at 12:17, she responded, "They said that the police will be escorting us in a few minutes." And then right after that, she sent IDK, which means I don't know where though. I assume the parking lot or the football field. And then she said, they also said the threat isn't in our building, so that's good. And Colin responded yes. And then she sent back, "I'm still kinda shaky though." And she says, "I'm chilling with my friends and they've been comforting." And that was at 12:19. And right after that at 12:19 still, he says, "Jenny, have you talked to your brother?" And she says, "No." And then she sends, "But I think we are thinking the same thing and I don't want to talk about it over text." That was at 12:20. And then he right after responds, "Yep, 10-4, which means clear in law enforcement terms. He says, "I'll be here in just a few. Let me know when you're back in the building and when I can come get you." And she says, "All right," with a heart emoji.
And what time was the 10-4 text and then the all right text?
The 10-4 text that he sent her was at 12:20, and the all right text was also at 12:20.
Okay. So all of these texts would have been sent and received by the defendant before you spoke to him.
That's correct.
But he did not show you these.
No, he did not.
Okay. During the course of his interview, he also mentioned that when he received a text from Colt, the one about "No, I love you" and Jenny and Coley, that is when he got up and he left his job site. Does that sound accurate?
Yes, he stated in his interview that he had received a couple of text messages in a row and got off the roof, is how he phrased it.
Okay, I'm going to show you that text message, and will you read for the jury what time that text message was sent?
Yes, I will. So she sends her dad at...
Or that's Colt, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, that's from Colt. Colt sent to his dad at 10:03, "No, I love you and Jenny and Coley." And then at 10:03, he also sends, "You're not to blame." And then Colt finally sends, but still at 10:03, "For any of it." So that was at 10:03 p.m.
So based on your interview of the defendant, was your understanding that he had left the job site at 10:03?
Yes, that's what he indicated, that he got those text messages and then got off the roof to leave.
Okay. After you concluded your interview with the defendant, what did you do?
Right after I concluded my interview with him, that's when I decided that I was going to ask him, since we had established a good rapport, if he was willing to let me take his phone and consent to have it downloaded, which he did agree to and signed in the form that we previously looked at. And that was at 3:06 p.m.
And then what did you do the following day?
So the following day, I went back to the school first, Thursday morning, and had a briefing with some of the other agents from my field office. And then it was decided that I would attend the forensic interview of Jenny Gray, Colt's sister.
Okay. And can you explain what a forensic interview is?
Yes. So a forensic interview is a specialized interview process that's done by a specially trained professional. And it's a method for obtaining information from children using open-ended questions. And you ask those in a neutral and non-leading format. And then it's always age appropriate for whatever child's age you're interviewing.
And where did that interview take place?
So that took place at the Treehouse Inc. in Winder, Georgia.
And who brought Jenny to the interview?
Colin did, her father.
Was Colin the only person who brought Jenny to the interview? Was anyone else in the car to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge, he was the only one that came with her.
And then after the interview was complete, did you take Jenny's phone into your possession in order to do an extraction as well?
Yes, I got consent from Colin and he told me that would be fine. And I took her phone. It was a black and color iPhone in a silver case, I believe, and she provided me with the password.
Okay. And then after that, did you do anything else as part of the investigation?
Well, I turned that phone over to one of the Barrow County lieutenants, and then, yes, in the next couple of days, I conducted some other interviews with some witnesses, and then ultimately I took out warrants for Colin Gray.
And do you see the defendant, Colin Gray, in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Can you identify him by piece of clothing he's wearing?
Yes, he's wearing a navy suit with a blue, I think it's striped undershirt.
Your Honor, at this time, I would like the record to reflect that the witness has identified the defendant. I don't have any further questions at this time.